Hello and welcome to CCK Live. My name is Kevin Medeiros. I'm an attorney here at Chisholm and Kilpatrick. I'm joined by fellow attorneys Elise Phillips and Sarah O'Brien. And today we're going to be talking about disability benefits for conditions that are secondary to service-connected hip conditions. So VA may rate the veteran's hip condition as osteoarthritis of the hip, ankylosis, limitation of motion of the hip, or replacement of the hip. And if you're service connected for one of those conditions, you might be eligible for secondary service connection for other disabilities that are caused or worsened by the service connected hip condition. So Elise, why don't you tell us a little bit about secondary service connection?
Absolutely. Secondary service connection is established when a secondary non-service connected disability is caused or aggravated by a condition that's already service connected. So in the case of service connected hip conditions causing a secondary condition or aggravating a secondary condition, the veteran needs to provide a positive nexus, which is going to link their secondary condition with their primary hip condition. Some things that will be helpful when filing a claim is to go ahead and fill that claim right out on a VA form 21526EZ. In some cases, it might be raised by the record, but we always suggest you be very plain and as clear as possible, file your claim on an actual form. Next, what's also helpful is if you can show that you actually have a diagnosis for your secondary condition. It's not necessarily required by the law, but it's always helpful when you can actually show a diagnosis to get that secondary condition service connected.
Yeah, thanks, Elise. And it's always best to file the claim as early as possible and hopefully with a medical nexus opinion to go with it. So, Sarah, why don't you tell us about some conditions that can be rated as secondary to hip conditions?
Of course, yeah. So the rating a veteran receives for a secondary condition that the hip condition has caused will be determined by what type of disability it is. So some common secondary disabilities include musculoskeletal conditions, mental health conditions, sleep disturbances, and many more. Because hip pain or hip disability can alter a veteran's gait or cause them to walk on one side while walking, back pain is one of the most common conditions linked to hip conditions. Veterans can receive ratings from 10 to 100% for back conditions, depending on the functional loss that's presented.
Yeah, we see back conditions are often secondary to hip conditions as well as other, lower extremity disabilities. Another condition that can result from hip disabilities is bursitis, which is small fluid-filled sacs that cushion the hip joints. They become inflamed, and veterans can receive up to 90% rating for bursitis if it causes extremely unfavorable ankylosis, which basically means that the veteran is unable to move the joint at all, and it's stuck in an unfavorable position. Hip conditions could also cause sciatica, which is nerve pain running down the leg. Misaligned hips are often the cause of this, and veterans can receive VA ratings for sciatica, with the highest going up to 80%. A lot of the times we think about the physical manifestations of other physical disabilities, but Elise, why don't you tell us about some psychological manifestations?
Yeah, so hip conditions can prevent veterans from daily activities or things that they used to enjoy. So sometimes people will develop mental health conditions like depression or maybe even anxiety secondary to a service-connected hip condition. Veterans can actually receive up to a 100% rating under the general rating formula for mental disorders if they develop one of these conditions, depending on the severity of that condition. Another example is going to be sleep disturbances. It goes hand in hand with if you're in a lot of pain, if you're not able to sleep in positions that are comfortable or that used to be comfortable for you. It can really interfere with someone's sleep. And again, sleep disturbances can be rated up to a 100% rating, depending on how severe that is.
Yeah, and another thing that we often might not think of and VA might not pick up on is how hip conditions can affect weight and the impact of obesity. So Sarah's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Exactly. So, hip conditions can prevent a veteran from living an active lifestyle. And while obesity alone cannot be service connected, it can serve as an intermediate step in obtaining service connection for a condition that is caused by that obesity. So, for example, a service connected hip condition can make a veteran unable to walk, resulting in that obesity. And obesity can cause a number of health complications, which could in turn result in a secondary condition.
Thanks, Sarah. So finally, overall secondary conditions can be very beneficial to boosting a veteran's overall combined rating, which can also help the veteran qualify for TDIU eligibility, which is individual unemployability based on the service-connected disabilities, and pays at the 100% rate if the veteran is unable to work due to the service-connected disabilities. So, any disability stemming from a hip disability can eventually be service-connected, and if those prevent the veteran from working, they'd be eligible for 100% rate, even if their scheduler combined rating does not reach that threshold. So we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more VA disability content. And thanks again.